Happy hump day and welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast. I'm Jay Zawaski with Greg Boysen and Mario Tirabassi. Lawrence Benedetto is here. It is Connor Bedard's 19th birthday.
Hey.
Happy birthday, buddy.
Wait,
2 years away from that first beer.
Here, wait, hold on. There you go.
All right.
I
There we
can't
go.
even remember my 19th birthday.
I don't think I want to.
Yeah.
19's
I
kinda
was a
lame, 'cause
real
you-
piece of crap when I was 19.
Yeah, me too.
And
I
18.
used to be a piece of shit.
And
People can
I
change.
still am, but just a different kind of piece of crap.
I remember my 18th birthday. It was a lot.
Yeah,
It
shut
was
up.
like 4 years ago.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
wish it was 4 years ago.
Oh, Lord.
19 kind of sucks though because like 18's cool because like you're
an
legal,
adult.
you can do things.
You can die at war.
19, you're like, okay, it's still 2 years away before 21.
I'm thinking of my 18th birthday. No, my 19th birthday was a shit show. You want to hear the story?
Sure.
Sure.
You
So
have to with that lead in.
So my very good friend of mine, we've been friends since we were basically born a day apart. Our parents were friends all throughout their lives, still are. And we had the bright idea to have a joint 19th birthday party. And we were going to have it at my other buddy's house because his parents were on vacation in Egypt.
Oh.
How about that?
And he had
Damn.
and
Sounds
lived,
nice.
lived in a big house.
Sounds like the
Probably a
plot
bigger
of
house, I'd
American Pie
imagine.
2.
Yeah. So we had a big old shindig at his house, and bunch of 19, 18-year-olds, no adults around.
Being stupid.
We had some fun, and then it turned into a very weird situation. Just a lot of inebriated children screaming at each other. That was the last joint birthday I had with anybody.
My
Not
19th,
your last birthday with a joint.
my 19th birthday was in a decade called the 90s.
It was
That's how long ago it
Oh,
was.
yeah, for sure for me, yeah.
I think 19? I don't know what year that would have been. Don't make me do math. I did that earlier and it went
Yours would
horribly.
have been 97 because you're a year older than me.
Yeah, I was a sophomore and freshman? Sophomore?
That'd be sophomore in
I
college.
didn't really
right?
drink, though. I wasn't a big drinker. Still aren't. So, anyway, I wish I was 19, though.
The fact that I don't remember my 19th birthday means it was probably a good time.
There you go. That's what matters.
I bet there's still pictures of face.
Well,
on
we hope
Facebook
Connor
of that
Bedard's
birthday.
having a good time. I'm sure he's on the ice somewhere. He has found ice. He has stolen it. He will not get off.
If he's in Canada, he's drinking Gatorade.
Yeah, probably drinking his new sponsor,
It's
Gatorade.
Canadian Gatorade.
So we're going to
Maple syrup
celebrate.
flavored Gatorade.
Ooh, I would try that.
We're going to celebrate Connor Bedard's 19th birthday by beginning our off-season reviews and previews for Blackhawks players. So we're going to talk about Connor Bedard's last season, predict what he's going to do next season, and we've got a couple other fan questions to wrap up before we get out of here. Before we get to all that, make sure you smash that like button for us. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube page as well. And if you're listening on your favorite podcast app, thank you. Like, subscribe, follow, whatever they call for there. And if you haven't done it by now, please do us a favor and leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. We would greatly appreciate that. So why don't we start with last season and what we thought of Connor Bedard's performance. By the way, if you are a collector, some information, the Funko company has just dropped their Connor Bedard Funko Pop for pre-order.
Apparently, you have to be 19 to have a Funko.
I guess so. That's the legal.
That's,
yeah, I didn't have his
federal
dad have
law.
to sign off on it.
Yeah.
But it's I think it's coming out in October, but available to pre-order now. $12.99. Got one. It'll be on set as soon as I get it. So last year, Connor Bedard, 68 games, 22 goals, 39 assists, 61 points, but none of that matters because he was a minus 44.
It's true.
That's
Yeah.
why my grade for him is F.
F minus.
He was terrible.
Incomplete.
All right, so let's go. Let's start with Mario and give your grade, and we'll talk it out.
Yeah. Okay. So actually, for Bedard, my grade was a fat, solid A. I mean, he was everything that he was billed to be coming out of the draft, and was almost immediately, if not by game 2 or 3, the clear-cut best player on the Blackhawks. And I think the expectations were really high for him coming in. He's hyped up as this generational talent, a franchise-changing talent. As thinking back to last summer, leading up to the draft and all that season, when we were talking to draft analysts and people who had, scouted him and everything, it was like, he is, what was it, Chris? Was Chris Peters the one that said he takes a year off of your rebuilding plans?
Yep.
Like that was lofty expectations to come in with. And look, like, aside from just happening to run into Brendan Smith's shoulder and break his jaw, like, outside of that and missing that time, he did everything that you could have asked him to do. He was the best player on a horrible team. Rookie of the year, like, checked every box that he needed to. I mean, if he had played all 82 games, he would have been flirting with almost a point per game pace, because he got better as the season went on. Just an absolute A for me. I think sky's the limit for him moving forward. We're gonna talk about it later in the show, but like, I'm very excited for what he's going to do with a much better team this next year. But as seeing our predictions ahead of the show, I may not be as excited as you guys are, but still hopeful.
All right, Greg, what do you got?
I'm going to be the downer of the group. I gave him a B because everything you said was 100% true, Mario. He was the best player on this team, and it's not even up for discussion. Like, there's no doubt. Like, it was Connor Bedard on his own tier, top of the pyramid, and everybody else was way at the bottom.
Right.
Like, definitely the best player on this team. I mean, it's hard for me to say that, like, he probably exceeded expectations, but I'm still giving him a B because we got to be fair. We got to be tough. The offensive game was amazing. His work ethic started to quickly rub off on other players, because for a while it was just Bedard on the ice after practice, and then it was Bedard and Korchinski, then it was Bedard, Korchinski, and Reichel, then it was Kurashev, and before you knew it, we'd be in the locker room after practice for like 20 minutes and there'd be no players because they're all joining Bedard on the ice. That stuff is big when you're trying to build a culture and you're trying to build a team, and as more of these prospects come up, they're going to start flocking to, as you've said in the past, Jay, when the guys like Jonathan Taves and Duncan Keith, if the best player on our team is doing the little things and working harder than everybody else, then I have to too.
No one's got an excuse.
Yep. So all that's great. The reason he gets a B and not an A is because there is some things that he needs to improve on, and he's just turned 19 1 year in the league. Nobody's perfect. None of this is a surprise. The defense needs to get better. And if he wants to be a center, if that's his long-term projection, which may or may not be a thing, you got to win more than 38% of your faceoffs. I know you're a teenager and a rookie. Those things in big picture of last season really didn't matter, but you still got to be better at both of those things to really become that elite level player that he's going to become. I know, and he knows this too. That's the thing.
Right.
Bedard knows it. He knows what his plus minus was last year, regardless if you think it doesn't matter or not. It doesn't. He knows what it is. He knows what how many faceoffs he lost. He knows when he went 0 for 10 at the dot and Luke Richardson stopped using him to take faceoffs in important situations. He knows this. And he's going to work on it, and he's going to get better. I think as time moves on, Bedard is going to become a pretty darn good 200-foot player when it's all said and done, because he has that drive and ability. So that's why he gets a B. Got to get a little better at the aspects of the game when he doesn't have the puck.
I agree with everything both of you said. I gave Connor Bedard an A-, and I think, as Mario pointed out, through the roof expectations, for the most part, met those expectations. He had all the highlight reel moments we wanted with the Michigan goal and the amazing first goal he scored on the wraparound and the overtime winner against Winnipeg and over and over and over again. Obviously the best player by a significant margin, wasn't playing with guys even close to his level as a rookie and was still close to point per game. The only complaints I have are the ones you listed, Greg, with he's got to get better at faceoffs. I think that he learned as the year went on that he's not going to be able to split 3 defensemen anymore.
Yeah, that was one of the, stop doing everything on your, I mean, you could argue he broke his jaw because he was trying to do too much.
Yes, and I think he did learn, and that you saw that happen much less often as the season went on. The faceoffs will improve. I also think there were a few games out there where I don't want to say he got selfish. I'll call it greed more than selfishness, where he's out there for 120, then it's 145, then it's 215, and that's too long. I don't care how good you are. I don't care how well conditioned you are. Having a 2.5 minute shift is too long. It happened too often with him. But like everybody illustrated here, nothing about Connor Bedard tells me he's satisfied with anything.
Right.
He is always trying to get better. He's always trying to take that next step in his career. And you find something that he needs to improve upon: faceoffs, defense, decision-making, shift length. He is going to hyper-focus on those things until they're fixed. And somebody pointed out in the chat that Jonathan Toews and Sidney Crosby had tough years from the faceoff dot as rookies. Now, it was Nate, thank you. Not quite as rough as Connor Bedard did, but Connor Bedard is also entering as a smaller player than they were and less physically mature and less he was younger than them coming into the league. So those factors all play a role, but I'm confident knowing that if he was given 4 things to work on this summer, that he has been hell-bent on improving those 4 things this summer. And we're going to get to our predictions here in a minute. I just can't wait to see what he's going to do. No disrespect to Nick Foligno, no disrespect to Philip Kurashev or Ryan Donato. All of those players would tell you, I'm not a first-line player. I'm just not. Kurashev could say, I'm a top 6 player. Probably not a top-line player.
He played well.
Nick Foligno 5 or 6 years ago could make the argument. But these guys know what they are, and now Connor Bedard has options on his wing. So I'm really excited to see how that goes, plus another year of maturity. And he kind of talked about it at the awards show. Like, it's nice to have kind of a lower-key summer where I don't have a million responsibilities, and I can really just focus on getting better instead of photo shoot, press opportunity, yada, 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 event, leading up to the draft. After the draft, he can just kind of have a normal summer for the first time.
Yeah.
I'm very, very excited to see what's coming up for him. So we're going to get to our predictions here in a second. But the work ethic thing is why none of this concerns me. Yeah, none of it.
I would say one of the things for him last year was transitioning, like you were saying, like kind of doing too much, long shifts and everything. Transitioning from that mentality of like, okay, the 3 seasons he spent in Regina, it was just like, okay, I have to do everything because I'm the best player on the team. He's been that basically his whole life. And in juniors, you get away with that. And one thing Derek King always says when he was head coach in Rockford, when he was here as a head coach, and when I'm sure he still says it as an assistant, with a lot of these prospects, it's getting the junior out of them. It's getting those tendencies and those habits out of them as they get to the professional level. And Bedard had to flip a switch from, I can get away with a 90-second shift because the speed of the game at the junior level and what I can do at the junior level is different than everything at the NHL level. So as the season progressed, I think he got better at that. And I think there's no concern that he's going to be pulling those same things come this season. Like I'm sure that transition is going to be a lot smoother in year 2.
So before we get to the preview part, what was your favorite Connor Bedard moment?
The Michigan goal. Because it was against Jordan Binnington.
That made it sweet.
And you could actually see the diaper fill. It was like with diaper filling action
see the flies. Just get right to his ass.
I mean, not only was it amazing and early in his career and swaggy as hell, it was against the Blues. It was against Jordan Binnington. Double birds to you. Thank you very much.
And then that jerk Trevor Zegras had to do it on the same
night. That was annoying.
And yet people still want to trade for that clown. No thanks.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
I would say, aside from the Michigan goal, the OT winner against was it Vancouver?
Winnipeg.
Yeah, the OT winner against Winnipeg, where he just
That was
like
hot.
the seas parted and he just sniped it past Connor Hellebuck of all people and did the game
Brossois would have
over.
saved it, my friends.
Probably.
Hawks would have lost.
Yeah, I think aside from the Michigan, that was probably my favorite goal and moment that
I
he
think
had.
my favorite outside of Michigan, my favorite moment was when he stared down Martin Jones was it Martin Jones on the Hurricanes?
I think so. Yeah.
Or he kind of was just like
Somebody.
you saw that. You saw a little bit of that swagger, like I got you, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That confidence he's got.
All right, make sure you vote in our poll over under 35.5 goals for Connor Bedard next year. We're going to give our predictions here in a second. But first, Greg's going to tell you about Chevy.
Yes, not Chevy Chase, but
Aw.
Chev
He's kind of a
Chev
fuckback.
O'Ray.
There you go.
Choose Ray Chevrolet as your first draft pick and find the right new Chevy and price for you. Visit our partners this July to shop the Freedom to Save sales event going on all month long at their location on Route 12 in Fox Lake or at raychevrolet.com. As one of the top-selling Chevy dealers in the entire Midwest, you'll always be able to shop one of Chicagoland's largest Chevy inventories. Plus, find that perfect tailgate vehicle right now. Get $12,000 off MSRP on a new 2024 Chevrolet Silverado, or lease the new 2024 Chevy Trax for only $188 a month for 24 months. That's a lot cheaper than what I'm paying. Or cruise into July your own way and shop over 125 of their vehicles priced under $20,000. And if you've heard of Ray Chevrolet, then you've also heard of Ray's Price Promise. They're guaranteed to make your next visit more affordable than ever with no price changing, no add-ons, no hidden fees, ever. That means the incredible prices we're talking about right now, you can expect to see the very same when you shop Ray Chevy in-store or online. Shop the Freedom to Save sales event all month long by visiting Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake or raychevrolet.com. They've been serving the community since 1963. Together, let's drive.
Yes, and you may have noticed it's summer. And get ready for the season that's here with quality shades built to last from our friends at Shady Rays. They have you covered with premium polarized shades that will not break the bank. Shady Rays is an independent sunglass company offering a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 million trillion people. Their shades have durable frames and crystal clear optics, making them the perfect choice for all outdoor adventures. We all wear Shady Rays. We all love Shady Rays. I've got several pair in case I lose one or have the wrong car with me on the wrong day. I got a pair for every car. I only have 2 cars, so but still, you don't want to forget one. But hey, if you lose it, they're going to exchange it for a new pair. There's no risk when you shop. Their team always has your back with personal and fast support, and exclusively for our lovely listeners and the ugly ones, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com. Use that code CHGO for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. I saw our buddy Nick Moriano got his shades for Bears camp. Can't pull those off.
No.
Not for me.
No.
The Macho Man sunglasses.
A little bit. But hey, if that's what you're into, if you're a handsome young man like Nick,
Yeah. To me,
I
that's
am neither of those things.
That's like
Handsome nor young nor
the
Nick.
high school baseball player look is what that wraparound
Yes.
is. And I can't.
It's like the Kenny Powers sunglasses.
Yeah.
Hell yes,
Yeah.
brother.
Spencer Martin.
Spencer Martin was the goal. Yeah, not Martin Jones.
You're close.
ooh, hey, look at this. We got a $20 super chat.
Hey.
Bedard's 19th, my twin brother, and my 37th. David Hasselhoff's 72nd.
Wow.
What a day. $20
there's
for a
some legends.
20-point bump next season for Connor Bedard. My favorite Bedard moment was the no-look bar down on Bobrovsky
Yes.
That was
that
nice.
was
after the
That's
Stenlund
really
strip.
cool.
That's from
Yes.
The strip
Mahaffey
and
Max.
the goal.
Yeah, Max
Yeah,
Mahaffey.
Max.
Yeah. Max, that was mine too. I loved that goal.
That was
The hand-eye coordination that took
That
to
was
to
insane.
make that goal.
And the
There
fact
was
that he
a little
wasn't
bit
even
of a little bit of a stare down on that one too.
Yeah.
the fact that he wasn't even looking at the goalie at the net when he shot that. He was
Yeah,
looking
the
to
no
pass.
look. Yeah.
I was like, yeah, screw you, Bobrovsky, and your eventual Stanley Cup win.
yeah, that was sick. I mean,
That was a great play.
just going through the goals video this morning. You can check that out at CHGO_Blackhawks for his birthday tweet. Yeah, just some really special talent. The toe drag goal against Arizona was sick. It just gets you pumped up for what, because he's doing all of that as an 18-year-old. Like, you think about all the times it was, he had a stat of like youngest player to ever do, or third fastest as a rookie to score these many points or in a game or whatever. Like, just incredible. Like, it makes you that much more excited for what he's going to do in year 2, outside of the team around him. Just as he matures and progresses in his skill set, like the sky's the limit for him. Like, it's very excited.
All right, let's take a look towards next season.
Well, quickly though, happy birthday, Max, and then here is Mario at age 19.
I told you, there's Facebook photos of those parties still up there.
Is that your brother friend?
No, that was my freshman year college roommate, Kevin.
It's American Ego and Abercrombie. You
Yeah.
guys
Oh
are
yeah,
like-
it was 2009.
Hell yeah.
you guys
Basic
are
bros.
like-
Absolutely.
Yep.
And we're drinking soda pop
Sure.
in those cups.
That's Natty Light, 100%.
Keystone.
Bush Light.
Whatever's cheapest.
It was
the
Keystone.
cheapest 30 pack you can find.
Yep.
Oh,
$13 went a long way back in 2009.
All right. Let's take a look to Connor Bedard's sophomore season and our predictions there. Again, get that vote in on the poll. Over under 35.5 goals. Mario, kick it off.
I say over. My prediction for Bedard, I went with 38 goals, 50 assists, 88 points. I know it's, maybe a little bit lower than, we would want to really hype him up for, but I think it's baby steps. Like let's get him into a full season. Let's get him acclimated with some regular NHL talent around him, throughout the entire season. And I'd rather shoot lower and be surprised than shoot too high and be disappointed.
Sure.
So I think if he plays just a little bit above a point per game, puts up 30, 35 plus goals, like, I don't know. I think it's very hard to be upset with that. And like, you look at what guys like McDavid and Crosby and all those guys did in their second years. Obviously the teams around them were a little bit different, but Bedard's kind of getting to that point now where he's got those kinds of teams around, that kind of team around him now, on paper at least, with what McDavid and Crosby like stepped into in their first and second years. I mean, those guys were 100 points and everything like that. Like, I think if Bedard can play at about a point per game and a little bit better, like that's going to be satisfying to me. Anything more than that is like, let's go. Let's get excited about it.
Yeah, last season I tried to temper my expectations a little bit. Like, I don't want to put too much pressure on the kid. I wanted to be like, oh, he's going to score 50 goals on 100 points, but I tempered it. And 22 goals in 68 games. That's good. That's great for an 18-year-old, but probably a lot less than a lot of people thought, predicted. But this year I said, screw it. Go big or go home. 35 goals, 63 points.
Woo.
Hey, what does that add up to?
For 98 points.
Oh,
See what I
I
did
see.
there?
There you
98
go.
points. I think the 63 assists seems kind of high, but I think it's up to, he had 39 last year on a team that had nobody that could score an effing goal. That should go up with Bertuzzi and Tavo and all the other guys.
Hopefully
and
Taylor Hall.
Hopefully Taylor Hall and Reichel and all these guys.
Nazar.
Yes.
Levchinov.
Maybe.
Let's
Waver.
sure. All of them.
Nick Lardis.
Sammy Savoie.
Sammy Sosa.
Yeah.
The whole gang.
that number should go up. And another thing why I think his numbers will go up is because because you have more talent this year and you have maybe an actual second line, you don't have to put Bedard out there all the time.
Yeah.
You can, and that will probably help him down the stretch, because that was a dead ass hockey player the last 9 games of the season.
A lot of him, Korchinski,
Yeah, they all
kind of hit a wall,
because that's usually what happens when you go from playing 50 to 60 games a year to 82 in the NHL.
Right.
You're eventually going to hit a wall. So if you actually have a second line and maybe a third line that could score every once in a while,
One that doesn't suck ass.
right? You can not play him as much, and then that keeps him fresher down the stretch, and he puts up more points in March and April. But I just think that the talent around him is going to make him a better player and have him get more goals, more assists, having Tavo, having Bertuzzi, maybe Taylor, who's ever on his line. I don't think it's going to be two guys cemented there for the full season.
No, probably
it
not.
Never is.
Probably not. No.
They'll move around, and having more talent on the power play is going to help him get more points too. So I'm thinking big jump, 98 points, my friend, for number 98.
I see what you did there. I like that.
I wonder if his, deference goes down in year 2, and he starts to kind of, now he's not the rookie anymore, takes more shots, he might have more opportunities now, more crisper passes coming to him more frequently. But
Right.
I wonder if he shoots more this year rather than looking to pass.
Maybe a little more confidence, a little more, hey, I'm the guy now, or he's more willing to pass the puck knowing that it actually has a chance of coming back to him.
Yeah, that
Because
helps.
last year it's
Right,
once I give this puck up, it's never coming
Never
back
see
knows
it
to
what's
again.
gonna happen. Yeah.
That's why I'm out here for 2.5 minutes. Anthony says, are you worried about the so-called sophomore slump? If he's healthy, there's no way in hell he has fewer points next year than last year. There's just no possible way.
No.
Yeah, I mean, not. I would highly, highly doubt fewer than last year. But if he puts up like 72 points, like
I would to me
is
that's a
that
disappointment.
a slump?
I would call that a disappointment.
Yeah.
If he had, what do you have, 61 last year in 68 games, if he has a 72-point season with the line mates he's got, the opportunities he's got, that would be a bit of a disappointment.
Yeah, figuring that he plays with a rotation of Hall, Bertuzzi, Kurashev, and Teravainen regularly, I would say that's a little under. That's a little slumpy.
All right, I have Connor Bedard down for 37 goals, 55 assists for 92 points
37
in a row, and 55 taking a shot at Korchinski for bailing on that awesome number. But he did it for a teammate, so that's fine. Levchinov takes 55, which is great. That's fine. Just like we're saying, it's just there's so many factors that go into these numbers we're predicting, and we're all kind of like ballpark with each other. I can't when I made my, I don't know, I sort of shot from the hip and maybe didn't think it totally through that the Hawks have a better roster than the Blues. And when we start talking about like our number projections, like this team is night and day better than last year's team. Night and day.
Yeah.
I mean, even on paper, and even if you only get 40 games out of Taylor Hall, or maybe 60 out of FNSU, whatever it might be, they're going to be significantly better with that alone, let alone all the talent you added in. Look, I'm not going to overrate Craig Smith or Pat Maroon or Alec Martinez or TJ Brody and what they're going to bring to the team. But you can't deny that the Hawks were able to land arguably 2 of the top 5 forwards available in free agency. They didn't get Gensel, they didn't get Stamkos, but aside from them, was there anyone else that was like glaringly better than Teravainen or Bertuzzi? Am I missing somebody?
Marchessault, maybe.
Marchessault, probably, yeah.
I'd say two of the top 8 available. I would
Fine.
say, which is still good.
Fine. That's
Still much better
I'll
than
take
last year.
Yeah.
2 more than a lot of other teams got.
Yeah,
Right,
that's
exactly.
right. And I just in the as we've talked about many, many times, as we were looking ahead to free agency for months on end, that one name, Teuvo Teravainen, just made so much sense.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just because it's a guy we knew, but it just checks every box for what that line needs. And then, oh yeah, you go get Tyler Bertuzzi, who brings that physical edge, the willingness to go into the corners and all those sort of things. Like that line, it would surprise me if it's not the starting line. It would surprise me if they're not together for most of the season. Or not most of, but I'm saying the highest percentage, time together.
Yeah.
Because it just
should
makes
be
a
the most
lot of
frequent.
sense. It just makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and I think to your point about, you don't want to overvalue some of the guys that they brought in, but I'd much rather see Alec Martinez and TJ Brody playing 50+ games defensively than Jared Tenorti and Jacob Megna.
Yes,
Oh,
I agree.
absolutely.
Like even at a baseline, that's an improvement. Even if Martinez and Brody still aren't great, that's an improvement.
If they're replacement level,
Yeah.
that is a huge improvement. Yes, that's a valid point. Like everything around, and with the defense being better, and the team defensively as a whole being better, that's only going to help Bedard get more points too.
Yeah.
Because ideally they're going to have the puck more than they did
You're not
last
hemmed
year.
in your own zone for shifts, whole shifts at a time.
Yeah, Tavo's
As often.
Tavo's defensive game is, I think, grossly underrated.
I agree.
And having that on the same line with Bedard, a guy that can get the puck out of the zone quickly, getting shooting lanes, getting passing lanes, that's going to only improve that line. It's going to keep that line from getting in it. How many times did we see last year? Didn't matter who was on it. If it was Kurashev, Bedard, and Foligno, how many times did they get puck got put in deep behind them and they stayed in that zone for 45, 50 seconds, and then by then you've wasted a Bedard shift with no offensive zone time.
That happened a lot, and that explains the minus 44 big time.
Yeah, and Mikheyev is another really good defensive player.
Yeah.
People compare his game a lot to Jason Dickinson with a little more speed, but, having a better defensive team is only going to help Bedard's offensive production because they'll have the puck more. And the last time I checked, now I'm not an expert, but I believe you have to have the puck to score a goal.
It helps.
True?
Yeah.
Okay.
It does
theoretically.
help.
Right. Unless you're Brent Seabrook and score on your own goalie at least twice a year.
Or Steve Smith. Yeah, sometimes.
From our friend Jay Fresh. This was from free agency signing day. Teuvo Teravainen is a pass-first defensive middle six winger who kills penalties. He's not big, speedy, or physical, but he contributes to the forecheck and helps his line maintain possession of the puck. He had a wins above replacement in the 79th percentile of the NHL, a penalty killing percentile of 100%. So
That's
he was
good.
at the top percentile of penalty killing forwards in the NHL. So, yes, I think when the data backs it up, that's the expectation.
All right, we come back here in a second on CHGO Blackhawks. We will continue this Connor Bedard conversation and get to what's left of our mailbag questions. Only a few left, but we mentioned earlier, it's summer. It's not as hot today as usual, but it's still pretty damn hot, and you want to make sure when it's hot that you're smelling good.
Mm-hmm.
You're not offending people with your stench. I think back to my trip to Disney. It was 8:30 in the morning, and the guy in the bus in front of me already smelled like a butt. Like, dude, get yourself some Mando. Do us all a favor, because managing and worrying about body odor, it shouldn't be a thing that takes up time anymore. You've got Mando. Do it. Since I switched to Mando whole body deodorant, and I freed up a lot of time worrying about that sort of stuff because I'm really self-conscious about that. And I wanted something that worked, and I gave it a shot, and I said, damn, this stuff is great. It is effective and long-lasting because Mando doesn't cover up odor after the fact with just perfumes and heavy fragrances like other brands. It stops odor at the source by blocking the bacteria on your skin from eating your sweat, which is the actual cause of BO. What does that mean? It means Mando is clinically proven to control odor for up to 72 hours. That's a long time if you didn't know that. Give yourself the precious gift of time and get yourself some Mando whole body deodorant. New customers get $5 off Mando's best-selling starter pack with code CHGO at shopmando.com. Again, that's $5 off Mando's starter pack with code CHGO at shopmando.com. That's SHOPMANDO. That's 40% off your starter pack. Do it.
Do it. And a good time to use Mando is when you're going into high-pressure situations like maybe a job interview. And if you're looking for a job or if you're looking to hire, you need to go with Indeed. We are driven by the search for better. We at Indeed, they at Indeed. But when it comes to hiring, the best way to do it is not to search for a candidate, but match with Indeed. If you need to hire, Indeed is your matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors. That's according to Indeed's internal data. And a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. And Indeed doesn't just help you hire faster. 93% of employers agree Indeed delivers the highest quality matches compared to other job sites, according to a recent Indeed survey. And you know what? In the time that I've been talking to you, 23 hires were made on Indeed. Do you know that? 23.
Damn. It's probably 26 by now.
You go, 23 people that just got a new job. Way to go.
No one wants to work anymore.
Again, that's according to the Indeed data worldwide. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/AllCity. So go to Indeed.com/AllCity, ALLCITY, right now and support our lovely show by saying you heard about Indeed on this here CHGO Blackhawks podcast. Again, Indeed.com/AllCity. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed.
One thing I want to get to, and you mentioned him briefly, is Ilia Mikheyev, who it kind of fell through the cracks because it was before the draft. It was before.
Kind of got buried.
Yeah, it kind of got buried a little bit. And I think it was Nate who said, I don't really have any faith that Mikheyev is going to be any good. I don't really know why. Mikheyev had 11 goals and 20 assists in 78 games last year. But what do you go, like the last 50 without a goal?
It was
like something crazy.
He had like 10 goals in his first like 20 games and then like 1 goal over the final 50.
Yeah, for
Pretty
a shooting
crazy.
percentage of 7.5.
Yeah.
He had 13 and 15 the year before. That's only in 46 games. And then in 2021-22 with the Leafs, in 53 games, 32 points.
Yeah,
This is a guy who has
season.
scored at this level before.
Yeah.
And it kind of strikes me as one of these, like Jason Dickinson, kind of scrap heap. Like, I've had my eye on this guy for a while, and I'm going to buy low, kind of low risk, and see what happens. I don't know. I think that this could be a more significant move than people think.
Yeah, I think Mikheyev is a guy that you put on the third line. I think he's got speed to his game. He's not small. Can play responsibly defensively, and if he pots 15 goals, great. If he gets up to 20, even better. Like I don't think, and like we said, when the Mikheyev trade happened, I think we all were like, this is good, but none of us were like, this is Davidson's stamp on the offseason. Like we all had a feeling that more than Mikheyev was coming, and I think that's totally fine. Like I think he's coming in, and I don't know. We all liked Colin Blackwell, but I think Ilia Mikheyev is a step up from Colin Blackwell.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
big time.
like I think he's probably a step up from the version of Taylor Radish that played last year. So
am I.
I think when you're looking at an improvement across the board, he's part of it. Now, whether he plays up to it during the season still remains to be seen, obviously. But on paper, Mikheyev playing on a third line for 70 plus games, that's totally fine. Behind the top 6 that they have now,
it's an upgrade over whoever played on your third line last season.
So you had Jason Dickinson last year. We all love Jason Dickinson. 22 goals, 13 assists in 35 games. I could truly see with Mikheyev flipping those, like 13 goals, 22 assists on your third line. That's a third line player that is a penalty killer, defensive specialist that can actually put up some numbers. Like you can have your defensive specialists, like you guys you just mentioned, like Taylor Radish and Colin Blackwell, who aren't putting up points.
right?
You'd much rather have a guy, and I think that's part of why he at least tried with Sam Lafferty to get him here and see if he would take a deal. But he went to sign up to be on the first line in Buffalo, apparently, because I don't know what the hell else they're doing. So you're seeing the mindset of like, all right, like you can find reliable defenders that can also put some points on the board. And I think that's what Mikheyev's going to do. I don't see him scoring 25 or 30 goals, of course. And if he does, great. But if you're looking at a ceiling of like 20 and 25 or 20 and 30, that's great. But even like something like 35 points next year from your third line defensive specialist is very, very solid.
I look at a guy, we always look back to the Cup teams in the Dynasty era. Michael Frolik.
Yep.
Was he a big point producer when he was with the Blackhawks? No. He topped 40 points 4 times in his career, 5 times. None of them came with Chicago. Like he was, obviously, yes, those teams were much more talented, but that was a guy that came in, played, third line, fourth line minutes, was more defensively responsible than needed to produce offense. And I think Mikheyev has an opportunity to have a little bit more of an offensive role than strictly being like a PK guy. So, I mean, if he plays that kind of role and puts up 20 to 30 points, I think that's completely fine.
All right. I agree. It's going to be fun to watch. Want to get to the mailbag here before we wrap up?
Yeah, of course. Sorry, I'm just a little there's some breaking Sky news. They just traded Marina Mabry. I'm a little bummed out.
They were traded who?
Marina Mabry. She's one of their guards.
Oh, I think that's my sister's favorite player.
Money Mabry.
Based on Twitter, yes.
I'm gonna have to do a wellness check. Excuse me.
Yeah. No,
All right, we'll see.
I'm a big fan of hers, except for when she's asked to shoot free throws
Marina
with less than
Mayberry.
10 seconds left.
Do we have the details on said trade?
Yes,
yeah.
from the CHGO Sky account. Chicago receives Rachel Banham,
Banham, yeah, former Minnesota guard.
Mariah
Banham.
Jefferson, a first-round pick in 2025, the rights to a 2026 first-round swap with the Connecticut Sun, and the Connecticut Sun get Marina Mayberry. Is it Mayberry? Mayberry. Okay, it's spelled Mabray.
No, Mabry.
Mayberry. Okay, I thought you said Mayberry. Right, anyway,
No, that's
and a second-round pick in 2025. So you get first-round pick, the rights to a first-round pick swap, and 2 other players.
All right, breaking news is brought to you by Indeed. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/AllCity. That's Indeed.com/AllCity. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed. I am nothing if not a company man.
We are now the CHGO Sky Podcast.
That's it. Hey, it's breaking news.
that was amazing.
Got to get it in.
We are
awesome.
a team here at CHGO.
That's right.
All right, well, let's go back to the mailbag. You want to go back to the mailbag? We got a few. We got 4
Yeah, how
questions.
many
Yeah,
do
let's
we
do
got?
it.
4 questions. This
4?
is gonna be great.
Oh,
yeah.
it's plenty of time.
We got plenty of time to go back.
It's like half.
in
It's like
the
2
mailbag.
shows.
Let's just first open up the mailbag.
Yeah, gotta find the mailbag there.
Do a like spike while we're waiting to
Wednesday.
find the mailbag.
Hey, yeah, do a like spike. Yeah, I like spikes.
Boom.
All right, let's start with we just talked about Dickinson, J. Dickey.
Big J Dick.
So let's go with this question from Kyle Wiss. I really like Jason Dickinson on this team, but can't explain why. Something about his style I can't put a finger on. Tell me why I like Jason Dickinson. Who does he remind me of role-wise compared to 2008 to 2015?
I think you like Jason Dickinson because he's a guy that accepts and executes his role. And he's fun to talk to in the locker room. Like, you know, I
Smart dude.
we did a couple social videos, and he was always one that I was just like, if I have a random question, I want to at least ask Jason Dickinson, because he is always going to give like a thoughtful, fun answer. And then, you know, when it comes to serious time, again, a thoughtful answer, and is a pretty honest guy when talking to the media. So I think you mix those 2 things together: hard worker, executes his role, is open, you know, in the public sphere. Like that's a good way to endear yourself.
I also think there's like a bit of a fan pride when you win a trade so cleanly.
Yeah,
like the Hawks did there. It's
That's
like, all right, that's like that was a steal. They got Jason Dickinson for basically nothing, and he's become
and a second-round pick.
Yeah, right. And he's become one of their most dependable players. Again, he's never going to be a guy that is a massive scorer, but he gives you 20 goals, potential 40-point guy, plays his ass off, plays in all roles.
Selke.
Yeah, like good defender.
Selke votes.
And when we talked to the Hawks at the end of the year, and like you said, they talked about guys who accept and execute. That guy is, when you look that up in a dictionary, there's a picture of Jason Dickinson. Not literally. Well, maybe.
It's been a while since I've used it.
Yeah, true.
Could be.
There's one at my parents' house. I used to look up swears all the time. And
I also, what's the old joke about gullible in the dictionary?
yeah, just gullible's not in the dictionary.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a very likable dude on and off the ice. So, but in an ideal world, that's your 3rd line center, or maybe even your 4th line center. When you're like contending for a cup,
yeah,
you know,
That's
why I like that. If you're paying attention, he's got that 2nd line center job. It's his, but
I think right now
it's open for Frank Nazar to go ahead and steal that job from him.
Yeah, he's probably better on a 3rd line. And that's, again, while getting more talent on this roster, you're able to put the guys in their best
A
positions.
3rd line
succeed.
of Dickinson, Foligno, and Kurashev is very good.
Yeah,
Mhm.
or Dickinson, Foligno, Mikheyev. Like,
Sure.
that's a good 3rd line too.
Yeah.
Like or Foligno might be on the 4th line this year.
Right.
Yeah,
You
maybe.
know?
And I believe that he would accept and execute that.
Right.
role.
Well, that's part of the reason people like, you should like Dick. You hear the term buy in a lot.
Yep.
You know, players got to buy in. He has bought in.
Oh yeah.
Like he said when the news leaked that he had signed the 2-year extension, he was kind of like, I wish I could have signed longer because I want to be here when this is good. Like he sees what's coming and he's all in, and that's
And
that's great.
And he feels like one of those guys who, if he, continues to do what he did last year, and does what the organization is asking of him, he's not old. He's 28, 29.
He's hockey
Like,
prime.
He definitely could be one of those guys that is just like, yeah, his contract's in that, like, he was part of that group that was like, okay, let's just kind of bridge ourselves to when all these young guys are going to be ready to go. He's one of those guys that could probably play his way into an extension.
Just turned 29.
Just turned 29. Yeah. So
31-year-old Jason Dickinson, you give him another 2 or 3 years to be a assistant captain and leader.
I could definitely see it.
But back to that question about who does he remind you from, like, the cup runs, it's very easy to think because they wear the same number, but similar-ish players, kind of like an Andrew Ladd, a little bit bigger. Andrew Ladd had a little more offensive pop to
I
him.
thought it was Hanzus.
Okay.
Kind of similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not huge offensively, but
faster.
scores big goals and
Definitely
big moments.
faster, but yeah. So if you morphed Andrew Ladd and
Faster than
Michael
McKinnon,
Hanzus,
scientifically.
See, the thing is, those cup teams would have loved to have had a Jason Dickinson.
oh, he would have been just a huge
Like you could have
deal of
you could
that.
have Dave Bolin on the second line and Jason Dickinson on your third line, and there you go.
I miss
You
Bully.
wouldn't have had to have had a rotating carousel of second line
See if he'll
centers.
come on the show.
Bully?
Yeah.
Oh, I would fanboy that whole show.
Bolin?
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
I know.
Now
yeah,
that the
careful-
smoke is cleared a little bit.
Careful, you're saying you say bully, but I almost hear bullig.
No.
Yeah.
Honest,
He's,
that was
he's
me.
fine as well.
Bullock is a super good dude
yeah.
and an excellent interview. It just bothered me that he played so much in the playoffs.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, Dave Bullig.
Like,
And didn't kill Rafi Torres.
Yes.
Yeah, well.
Yes. All right. What
Yeah.
else we got? Any more brain busters?
Let's actually. This one is tough. From Damaged Lightning. What is each of your favorite all-time Blackhawks goal?
Not tough for me.
For example, the most unforgettable goal for me was being at the United Center for Shaw's shin pad goal in triple overtime against the Bruins in Game 1 of the 2013 Stanley Cup Final. I was there. That was a pretty good goal.
Nice.
Like 1 in the morning.
Easy. Brent Seabrook eliminates the Red Wings. That's
Yeah.
maybe my single favorite moment of the dynasty.
Yeah.
Is that final F off to the Eastern Conference Detroit. Quit crying about time zones. You're done. It's our turn now. We are the new king. Piss off.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Go away.
That's a good one.
That's a very good one. That is my favorite non-cup goal for sure.
I mean, the Marion Hossa Game 5 against Nashville.
Pretty good.
Because
Number
who knows
14 on our CHGO
Yeah.
ranks list.
who knows what happens if he doesn't score that goal. If the Blackhawks lose that game, who knows what happens? Do they win that cup that year? Do we have the dynasty era? Like, who knows? Half jokingly, but from the last couple of seasons, my favorite goal was that Buddy Robinson game-winning goal in Pittsburgh.
The ripple effect of that.
Yes.
goal.
I
Yeah.
mean, it only got you some kid
Yeah.
named Connor Bedard.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Connor. But there have been a lot of great ones.
I mean, Bedard's Michigan goal last year was pretty sick.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
It's not an all-timer, but it's up there.
It's symbolic.
It's up there.
One of my favorite
The
goals.
heartbreaker, pretty great.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite goals I got to see in person was in a completely meaningless game in a completely meaningless era. I remember the company I used to work for had a 100 level skybox, and they gave it to me to the Hawks games all the time because nobody ever wanted them.
You couldn't give them away.
So we were there for a game, and the 100 level was 100 level skybox right behind the net the Hawks shot at twice. And I forget who they were playing, but it was back when Steve Sullivan was on the team. So this was probably like,
Love Steve Sullivan.
Love Sully.
I'm going to guess based on when I worked there, probably like 02, 03, somewhere around there. Sullivan comes in, he's behind the defense. Everybody like gets up because they think he's going to score a goal. He completely whiffs on the shot, but then recovers and scores. So everybody's like, yeah, oh, yay! Like it was just like all like 3,000 people in the building kind of had the same reaction. But that was one of my favorite goals because we were all like, oh, he's going to score. Oh, you idiot. Oh, he scored. All right.
Steve Sullivan, for as short as he was in Chicago, had some great moments.
Don't call him
Mhm.
short.
He's a short king. He played 1, 2, 3. Damn, he played 5 years here.
Yeah.
That's great. It
He's here
doesn't
for a
feel
while.
that long. Tough 5 tough years to be here.
Best
Where the puck, he got hit with a puck in a game, and this dude like taunted him, like you got hit by the puck, and serendipitously the puck goes over the glass, hits the same guy, and he's bleeding, and Sullivan goes up to the glass.
Yeah, it's so good. You can find that on YouTube.
I love that.
That's my favorite Steve Sullivan moment. So good.
How about this from Jason T? The Taves goal that tied the game against Vancouver in the losing
That
effort.
was a good one.
Game 7?
Game 7.
Game 7.
Yeah.
I mean, Taves had so many.
There's
of
so
those,
many
like,
memorable Taves goals.
Jump on my back. You know,
Well, the one his rookie year against Colorado.
Oh my
Just
god!
like that
That's
statement
first, right?
moment.
That's
his
another.
first goal, right?
No, he
No, that
scored
was-
on his
yeah,
first shot against San
It's
Jose.
Yeah.
But
right.
very much like the Bedard Michigan goal was like the arrival, and even the Colorado announcers, because it wasn't on TV in Chicago, even the Colorado announcers said like this is the kind of a moment and the kind of a team that is the next big thing or something along those lines. That was like when we all saw that goal scored, it was almost like we knew something great was coming, and it. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about that goal. It's incredible. Like, and you watch it over and over again, and it never gets less impressive.
Even in standard definition.
Yeah, exactly.
Greg really digs. Is this a Mark Bell reference? The Bell one-handed,
the Bell
on a
one-handed belly
breakaway.
breakaway.
What?
I don't remember that
Mark
one.
Bell?
Somebody mentioned the Alex Jamnov one-handed goal against Buffalo, which was great. Actually, before our power went out, when we were in the basement of our house fending off a tornado, our basement's like 60 degrees at all times, and I was freezing. So I grabbed the first jersey I had available, which was my Jamnov jersey from our Russian top 10 list.
Oh, nice.
And my daughter goes, "Who is Zahimnov?" I'm like, "Oh God, she's so bad with hockey names." But
She could be on our draft show next year.
I wonder where she gets it. Boisvert. Actually, I'm going to bring my Steve Sullivan jersey in tomorrow for the set. We're doing our top 10 moments.
Steve
Top 10 games? Top 10 games?
Top 10 games.
Games, yeah.
Spoiler alert, I don't think he is.
Damn. Well, he'll be in my honorable mentions.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like you said, the Seabrook one is like my favorite non-cup one. Out of like cup clinching goals, those are my 3 favorite. Kane's overtime in 2010, the 17 seconds, string of events.
Yeah, Boland. Mainly Boland throwing his gloves off.
Yeah, and then Duncan Keith scoring the scoreless game breaker against Tampa in 2015.
I'm surprised no one's mentioned the Marian Hossa slap shot breakaways.
Those are always
where he's like,
wonderful.
Guess what? I'm Marian Hossa and you're not, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to score, and you're going to like it.
The Frolik, Jason said the Frolik penalty shot,
Hell
and then
yes.
the flyby past the Red Wings bench.
The best.
That's a great one.
And I love the version where it's like the jug band playing on the.
Pavel Datsyuk got accordion.
Yeah, it's so good. I miss the simple days of hockey Twitter, man. That was the golden era. Of hockey
the mid
Twitter.
2010s, like that was
so
that
good.
was great social media time.
All right, let's get a couple more in before we got to wrap up here. I know.
I just
we
want
got
to
2 more.
Keep on reminiscing here. This next one should be pretty easy. It is from Jeff Maroon. I wonder if it's Pat's brother. Build your quote-unquote perfect hockey player with skills from the current Blackhawks roster: shooting, skating, hitting, etc.
Everything Connor
Bedard.
Everything
Bedard.
Bedard does.
Yeah.
Shooting Bedard, skating.
I mean, if you can get Connor
Fantasy while he's
Bedard shooting
healthy.
with Athanasiou skating,
While he's healthy,
that's not bad.
Yeah, I see, but Athanasiou is like straight line fast. I'm trying to. Do you value more straight line speed or 4-way mobility?
I say 4-way mobility.
I would value that more.
That's fair.
But I guess if I'm making,
I mean, you can combine the two. We're taking a little bit for everything.
I'll say speed, Athanasiou, shooting Bedard. I'll take Nick Foligno's personality, Pat Maroon's appetite,
Jason Dickinson's defense.
Jason Dickinson's defensive.
Who's
skills.
the biggest hitter on the team now?
That's a good question.
Who?
Will it be
Probably
Bertuzzi?
Bertuzzi.
Probably Bertuzzi. Yeah, I would imagine.
I mean, Connor Murphy hits a lot.
And
lays some
Ryan
people out.
Donato does a lot of checking while he's out there. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I'll go with that.
Can we just make
That'll be
another
my
Hosa?
player.
Can we just do that?
Was that?
Can we just make another Marion Hosa?
How's the
We tried.
how's the
Yeah.
project going with the water bottle, Lawrence?
We're almost there. We're
All
at 90%.
Figure out that what to do with that tail.
Another 29 years. Ooh, just do a stick on it. He shoots twice.
All righty. Guess what, guys? This is our last question from the mailbag. It's Wednesday, so that is pretty good. But
All right.
this comes from Todd Welter, at Todd J. Dub. What is the best thing to serve at Sunday dinner?
Oh.
Sauce. My sauce with meatballs.
Yeah, spaghetti and meatballs is kind of my thing because that was growing up kind of traditional Sunday. It was either meatloaf or spaghetti and meatballs.
Okay. I'm doing, I would say like a pot roast with some mashed potatoes and something hearty on a Sunday night.
Sure, hearty.
Yeah, I need something hearty and beefy and potato-y. That's where I would go.
Just describe. Never mind.
Bangers and mash.
Not a big sausage guy
It's meat.
in terms of
Uh,
like, I like it on pizza, like it in sauces, but like links, they're fine. Not my favorite.
I mean, if it's Sunday night football with a nice big pizza, I'm wonderful. a
It's
wonderful
never
night.
the wrong answer.
Yeah.
Pizza night can be every night. I wouldn't care.
Can I plug what I'm doing today? Speaking of pizza,
What are you doing today?
I'm going to be at the Midway Farmers Market in about an hour, judging a pizza contest for the Midway Chamber of Commerce.
Do you-
Invited me and Rick
Are
from
we
the
talking
AMFAT
like
podcast out.
Midway,
do you need help with
on a
that?
runway?
No, it's all we asked for extra gluten. So Archer and Narragansett will be out there judging pizza. So, oh no,
Awesome.
I get to eat multiple kinds of pizza tonight. Terrible.
You'll be right with the right by where we parked our cars when we went to Vegas.
There you go. Perfect.
There you go. Yeah.
Perfect. Well,
Hey, by the way, did I see Region Rev say it's anniversary today?
wedding
I believe it was the
anniversary, I think
33rd.
33 years.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Region Rev.
Travis's. That's awesome.
I can't imagine someone tolerating me for 33 years.
Well, you're
that would
what?
be an upset.
You're at what? 10 years? 12?
I've been married since 2008. So
Oh, wow, so 16.
You're
Nice.
halfway there.
Yeah. And we were together for what, 4 or 5 before that? So,
I mean,
What took you so long,
Impressive.
bro?
but she's tolerating me less and less every day. So I don't know. I don't know if we're gonna hit the finish line.
I know. Yeah.
you've beat her into. She's given up. You know, you've beat her
She's-
into
yeah,
submission.
well.
She's like, whatever. It is what it is.
I guess.
It is what it is.
My wife and I are coming up on 7 years in September, but we dated for 8 years before getting married.
Oh, wow.
9?
Better get that right.
20, we got married.
What
in
took you so long,
2017.
bro?
I told my wife I remember one anniversary. Once we get married, the other anniversary ceases to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it cancels out first date and first
Right.
kiss and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're married now. We celebrate one
Right.
anniversary.
I only have brain space for one.
Yeah. So we were together 9 years before getting married.
How about you, Law?
We're coming up on 11 in a week, in 10
Ah.
days. 10 days. 10 days. She does not tolerate me much anymore. So 33 is going to be
It's
tough.
hard to believe.
I do remember the date anniversary, though, still. It's December 4th, 3rd, 4th. Yeah, that was 2009. So
We'll have a
Date anniversary was 2 days after my wife's birthday, which is also my mom's birthday, so it was easy to remember. But
perfect.
wedding anniversary
convenient.
is September 9th, so it's 9/9. Pretty easy to remember.
nice.
Foolproof.
Perfect. All right. Happy anniversary, Region Rev, and everybody else
Yeah.
who's mentioning their
And a happy
anniversaries.
birthday to Connor Bedard again.
Do us a favor. We need that like button hit before we go. We only have 78. Make that make sense. It's Connor Bedard's birthday.
We
Make
need
a
to get it up
wish
to 98.
by hitting that like button. Every like is an extra 2 goals this season. So hit that like button for us before you log off. We're back tomorrow. Top 10 Thursday. Special one this week because we're doing, as a company, the top 25 games in Chicago sports history. So we're going to present our top 10 games in Blackhawks history and talk it out and argue about it. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So don't miss that. Make sure you join us tomorrow at 2:30 for that. And stay tuned to CHGO Sports on our social media all week to watch that countdown happen. They've done a great
It's
job
been a lot of fun to see all
with
those.
the graphics and the highlights and everything. And they did a wonderful job. So stay up with that. And in the meantime, happy birthday, Connor Bedard. We've got a seat for you here anytime you'd like.
86% of the people took the over on that.
86% said over
Wow.
35.5.
I feel like that's a little high, but I
I
don't
like
know.
mean,
that. It's
hey,
a good
you know,
number.
have some fun.
Let's do it.
Season's going to be fun. So
100%.
Have some fun with it.
All right, we'll talk to you tomorrow at 2:30 for Top 10 Thursday on the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.